Boom, and we're live. Another episode of Elite Encounter. Today we have BlackCH on our episode. How's it going, man?
Hey, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Of course. It's always a pleasure having new people on the podcast, and you have a community called EX Frontier. So, before we jump into Pokemon Unite and your community, what I like to do is ask about like, stuff that we do outside of Unite. So, apart from Unite, um, where do you live? What do you do for work or school? What's your life like outside of the game?
I mean, I'm a little bit old for school now,
I have some
um,
young people on the podcast, so
oh yeah,
I
well,
gotta
no,
cover my
I'm a
bases.
fossil. I'm a fossil. Okay, I'm old. I'm old. That's why I don't play anymore. I
I meet
cannot
you.
keep up with these Zoomers.
Yeah,
But
we're unks.
yeah, totally. Um, my name is Daniel Hernandez, known as BlackCH in Pokemon Unite. I'm a graphic designer. Uh, my side thing is building Pokemon Unite community. I love the Pokemon Unite community a lot. Like it has helped me a lot. I had a career as a player there. Nowadays, I'm a coach. Um, and I mean, I'm super grateful because when I won NAIC like 2 years ago, I was able to afford like my mom's cancer treatment, right? So
Wow,
because of that, I have a really deep connection with Pokemon Unite, and I always like try my best to build community, help the small time players, help the pro players. Everything I do is for the community.
nice man, nice. That's a big thing, but that's one of the struggles of living in the U.S. and their healthcare system. Um,
It's awful.
a little background about me. I also grew up in the US. Um, but long story short, I was traumatized by the corporate life and I decided to do some traveling, which turned into digital nomad lifestyle. Now it's more like a slow traveling type of lifestyle. Now I have a little baby boy. He is now 6 months old. And
Oh, nice! Congratulations, man.
thanks. That's why I have been spending less time with Unite, competing tournaments. Um, there's a little bit of a backstory, but when I realized I couldn't spend as much time, I threw a what I like to call like a shit bomb to my team that I was on at the time. Um, but we can get into that a little bit later. But now I'm in Europe. I'm in Romania specifically, and I work online. I do English coaching, and I have a few other projects here and there. I also write articles for Root Dignitas. As of 2 or 3 months ago, I've been writing articles for them, which is really nice. I enjoy it a lot.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So let's go into directly into the EX Frontier community. What inspired you to create the community?
Well, as I said, I'm really grateful because of everything Unite has given me and the community. And I was the owner for a while of the LG server specifically. I was running things, but then it became too much. I needed a surgery for myself. I was in a bad mental state, so I had to like step away.
Mm-hmm.
And for a year, I was out of Pokemon Unite. Then I remember that season, one of the teams we were helping with our projects, with the stuff we were providing, was back then they were called B1. Nowadays they are called IX. Um, I really love that squad, by the way. Like, shout out IX because most of the things I do is because of them. Like they inspire me to do more than I do for the community.
Nice.
And Riker's my boy. I love that guy. But um, yeah, so I basically got inspired and came back, and I was like, you know what? I'm just like gonna do me because the problem with like the LG server was that I was not like full owner or anything. So most of the decision I needed to like ask for permission and stuff. So I decided to do my own thing, and that's how I started Unite Academy. Now we're like trying to rerun the 2EX Academy, so everything makes sense and people don't get lost. But yeah, that's it. Like we did Unite Academy because basically people needed a place to grind, a place to learn, because the problem is like there's a lot of gatekeeping in the community,
Yeah,
and you need to start somewhere. You need connections, you need networking, you need to learn, you need to grind, you need to play the game. Like being a ladder warrior is not gonna take you anywhere if you want to be a pro player, So that's like why I started all of this.
yeah. I totally understand. I went through a phase where I was like consistently getting at the top ranks in ranked, and I was like, all right, I reached a plateau. I need to like see what else is out there. So I decided to try to get into the competitive scene. And I know exactly what you mean. There is gatekeeping in multiple forms. Um, and it's a shame, really, because on one hand, we shouldn't really like there shouldn't be gatekeeping, but on the other hand, there is some logic because there are certain strategies, builds, and people that know what works and they want to stick to the formula. Like I also do sales, and it's like a sales saying in sales where it's like stick to the script. So there is some weight to that. But on the other hand, Unite is a game that changes. It's not like basketball where the rules are always the same. The patches introduce new changes and the meta shifts and certain characters become more powerful, other ones become less powerful, etc., etc. So, how long ago has it been that you started EX Frontier?
Oh, I don't even remember. I think it was like July or June last year, something like that.
Okay,
I don't
so
know.
about
I
one
should
year.
keep track because we should definitely do something for 1 year of Unite Academy and EX Frontier. We should definitely do something about it.
We'll make a birthday celebration. How's that journey been?
Yeah, it's been great. Um, I think we have done an amazing job. If I'm honest with you, like we have been able to keep up with like the already established grassroots orgs, like Underdog or Unity, or there's plenty more. I think we have been able to keep up. Like we are like super new and we put like really good numbers on the streams. We have like a lot of participants. Every time I put a tournament, we have like full house. Like the registration gets full. Always 32 teams. Last time we did a big tournament, we got like the really good teams. We got like some people from Dignitas playing as well. They actually won the last tournament. It was like Toon, Sockrock,
Nice, nice.
and my boy Silot. Uh, and we have like Evil Geniuses. We have like a lot of teams. A lot of pros participating, which is like really good. Which is something I'm trying to push. Like more tournaments where there's more pro teams and non-pro teams, so everyone gets to even if you get stumped, you get the experience, because that's important. That's the important part.
Yeah,
But
yeah. That's one of the things I learned
yeah,
as well when I started doing competitive. I joined some communities and I was able to play with some pro players as well. And not just playing against them, playing with them, like in houses. It helps me understand certain things on how they think, how they communicate in the game, how they strategize, and how they how they like their perspective on how to improve, because you got to have a very specific way of looking at feedback in order to improve. There's like a balance you have to find between believing in yourself and implementing the feedback that you get. Sometimes the feedback isn't necessarily applicable or it's not really the best for your specific use case. So you have to be able to tear it apart and understand all these kinds of things.
yeah,
Would you say that the goal of your community is to elevate players and to help them get more into the competitive scene?
yeah, that's my plan. Right now I'm working on doing like a platform on my website. So the goal is anyone can join. Eventually, if a lot of people joins, though, I will have to like split them a little bit more, because the reality is like if you bring someone new, they're just gonna get like stumped, and I don't think you learn much from that. But because we're a small community right now, we're just like sticking to uh, what we have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the players we have, right? But what we're doing in the platform is we are gonna start doing houses and tournaments in the website, and it keeps a track of your record, and that record adds to like leaderboards and global leaderboards and stuff we have there, So I think that's a good tool because number one, you get like proficient or decent players playing with like small players, So you like mix them a little bit more, and everyone gets like more experience. Everyone learns, You can like potentially increase the number of competitive players there's in Pokemon Unite, which is like something I'm like strongly aiming for. If you know me, you know that most of my leagues they don't allow like top 8 players, because again I'm like trying to promote growth and like new faces into the scene, right? Uh, but yeah, that's like the angle. That's the plan.
And where do you usually have most of where do the people that are part of your community come from? Like which region? Are they mostly NA?
Yeah, they are mostly NA because I'm a known face on NA, Some of them like 20-30% are from Latam, but sometimes like the language barrier is like a problem. So they usually like come by, but most of the time they go to a new Latam server.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we have EU people, but like it's hard because EU has a different time zone, and to be able to run like EU stuff, I will like need to make a new whole team just so they can run EU without my supervision, something like that. So it's not a thing right now. We're like slowly going slowly, but steady. With NA
Yeah.
right now.
Well, I guess
We
you can try maybe doing it on the weekends. Maybe people would be willing to play more like earlier in the day on the weekends. Or you can do like another section or another sub community for the EU region. I think that would be pretty good because I'm located
Yeah,
in
that's in the
EU and I
plan.
would like to participate more. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's on our plans. But like we need to establish ourselves better, before we can like start overextending, because
Mm-hmm.
because we have tried a lot of things, but at the end of the day, most of us are volunteers and people burns out, so we need to establish ourselves, take things slowly, so
Yeah, yeah.
but it's in our plans, don't worry about it.
Nice. I'm excited to hear that. I know that as a former pro player, it's nice to see that people like you are stepping up to do stuff like this. Um, what would you say is like something that carries over from being a pro player? Like, what is it that being a pro player taught you when it comes to creating and managing a community like this?
Oh, like a lot of things, I'm gonna be honest with you. Most of the time, when I do something, it's because either I didn't like it as a pro player or I didn't like it as a coach. Like
Mm,
there's like some tools around for drafting, and I didn't like them because when I'm drafting, it's like super annoying. For example, that I have to like redo a complete draft because someone mispicked something in their draft.
yeah.
So, for example, in my own draft tool, I have like a undo, a Control C. I have stuff like that. I have my own all stars. I have like you can play versus another person. It doesn't have to be like one person just holding the screen. So like that's my logic. That my experience carries over, and if I don't like something, I try to do it myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the drafting could use some improvement, and there is, I think, also opportunity with AI to integrate some additional functionality. This is something that I talked about with other previous guests on my podcast and with one of my former teammates who's a programmer. Um, to implement some like AI functionality in a draft tool, I think it would be interesting to have a draft tool that like gives you maybe not advice, but like tips or suggestions as you do the draft in real time. to help you understand, as a player, you might not notice these kind of things when you're drafting, but like, when you make a specific selection, it might say, this is a good selection against this because it counters this, or it has good synergy with this, or your team is lacking secure, your team is lacking rip, you know, stuff like this. Because the game,
uh,
it only suggests like you need one person from each role, but it doesn't tell you about like early game strength, mid game strength, secure potential, etc., etc.
I'm sure someone is doing that. I think Atitet's doing that. Uh, you might have seen him play in this NAIC. He was on DMX. His name was EMP. He's doing something like that, I think. Me, I kind of don't want to do that because I also do guides. Like, if you guys know what I do, I also do guides, right? And right now, as we speak, I was working on the drafting guides. Actually, I just released one, which is called drafting fundamentals. Fundamentals, it's
Okay.
to cover the fundamentals. Like, you need a smite, you need tempo, you also need to have flexibility. Uh, you need to focus on your own draft more than what you focus on the enemy draft. Like, it's also good to like counter what the enemy draft is, but most of the time it's just like better to focus on your own composition. It's like stuff like that, and I'm gonna release like multiple volumes of drafting guides. So like
Mm,
I don't feel the need to like do a drafting tool that tells you that, because it's also like gonna be hard to keep up. You need to like, AI makes a lot of mistakes. AI doesn't have your knowledge, and you have to like constantly be telling the AI about like new metas, new patches. You have to like feed her a lot,
yeah,
So I think it's like a lot of work,
yeah,
and I will basically have to put like 50% of everything I do into that. So
yeah.
I'm not sure about
We can let those other
that.
people work on it, but I can see the potential. It does probably require lots of work because it's only as good as what you give it. And like you said, it makes
Hmm.
mistakes, so you have to take everything it says with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
but what would you say are some of the biggest challenges so far when it comes to EX Frontier?
So I think the biggest challenge is Timmy and Pokemon Company. Um, Not gonna lie, like, I keep like trying to pump content, and I keep like pumping and pumping and pumping, like, hey, here's a new league. Hey, here's a new tournament. Hey, here's a new guy. Hey, there's in houses. But the participation like slowly like it's slowly reduced, because people is like just quitting the game in general, like, it's been hard since like some of the newest updates. The Pokemon Journey, that's throwing people off. The Mega Evolution, that's like throwing people off, because it's like EX Pokemon again, So
Mm-hmm.
every time Timmy does something like that, it gets harder for us, because people just like quits the game, like literally just quits the game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
So
think, considering the circumstances, how it includes Pokemon, IP, and all that stuff, I think they're trying to look at it more long term as much as possible. So they might be making some sacrifices in the short term, and they're kind of trying to test things out, see what works. But on the other hand, this is also just me trying to be a optimist.
you're trying to. I mean, just they can just hire me, and I will tell them that it doesn't work right before they do that. They can just, if that's the problem, they can just hire me. I will tell them, hey, that's dumb. Don't do that.
Yeah, I
But
mean, it's hard because the way that the game like is a little bit different than other MOBA games. It doesn't like it takes the basic ingredients of a MOBA, but it does things slightly differently. So although they can take inspiration from other games like League of Legends or Dota, they they can't necessarily take everything like exactly as it worked for them because things are different. Like they have to test things out and see how things work. Maybe it's just me having sipping on that copium. Do you think it has
that's
anything to
like,
do with those things that you didn't like as a pro player, as a coach? Is there any correlation there?
no, I think it's more like Pokemon Company holding them back,
Mm,
probably. Because Timmy can just not like, hey, I want to make changes. They cannot do that. They need like Pokemon approval, and Pokemon approval clearly takes a lot of time. So I think that's like the major issue they're having.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I
there are
mean, I'm also on Copium and Hopium and all of that. I think like at the end of the day, they're gonna make the right decision. Probably they're gonna read the feedback. Probably, I don't know. We have like the ambassador program, which is another thing I complain a lot. Like, it's
yeah,
crazy to me that everyone in the ambassador program, like almost everyone, is like content creators. Like only half of them, I say, are like into the competitive. Because some of them are like casters, so clearly they are into it. Uh, People like Bridget, she's clearly really into competitive Unite, but like I feel like they are lacking like pro player experience, for example, for feedback. But I don't even know if they take the feedback of the ambassador. I don't even think it's the fault of the ambassadors.
of
Like
course.
we have some ambassadors speaking up about it and they got fired. So I don't even think it's the ambassador's fault.
Well, isn't that their job?
I mean, that's literally their job. Tell them the feedback and tell them, hey, you're dumb. Stop doing this.
Well, who knows? We don't know the whole story.
But
But okay,
yeah, we don't know the whole story.
going back to some of those things you didn't like, what were they that you didn't like as a pro player or as a coach? The drafting system,
Oh
or
no, I was talking about the tools in Pokemon Unite. Clearly, I didn't like the first 2 years of Pokemon Unite. There was not even draft,
yeah,
so it was like so bad. It was so bad. It was like just pick the broken Pokemon and win. It was
yep.
so bad. Um, then we had the draft, which was really good. Um, as a pro player, I think I didn't like how late UCS gives the news, and the format. Like they take so long to tell you what's banned. They take so long to give the seeding, even though like they have like a week ahead, stuff like that. Um, I was not playing this year, so as a coach, I say I don't agree with like only 8 teams. I think it should be more. But if they are doing like 8 teams, they should do like a B league.
Mm-hmm.
And they should do a circuit because like if you're gonna do a league, you need a circuit. Because you need to feed the league. You need to feed the main league. So if you don't give people an incentive to grind, people's just gonna quit competitive. I mean, we have my league, but you cannot compare like a low budget league with volunteers as a staff to like UCS.
Yep, yep.
So I complain a lot about that. Like they not making a B league. Like that should be something you do because it needs to be a flow. Even do a third league, and it's not a problem if you don't pay them. Like it's actually not a problem if you don't put a prize pool for that. But like give them something to look forward to, so
Mm-hmm.
they can like get to the A league. If the people in the A league didn't perform as intended, they totally deserve to just drop to the B league, and it should be like that.
Yeah, yeah. I think you're absolutely right. There should be like a funnel to help players progress up and up into the ranks. This kind of goes back into the gatekeeping thing because maybe in order to be able to compete, you have to pass like a specific threshold, which requires a lot of factors like finding a good team, being able to practice with them, participating in tournaments, and all this kind of stuff. So I definitely agree. What would you say are some of the biggest learning lessons when it comes to the EX Frontier community?
I think the biggest lesson, and people has like um been doing it really good, is networking. Because people comes with the mindset that they just have to play and they have to be good, which is like completely wrong. I think that's like one of the worst mindsets. Like, yes, it's important that you're good. It's good that you're improving. It's good that you're competing, but that's like not gonna take you anywhere. Realistically, I think networking is the best thing you can take out of like participating on EX Frontier events. Um, like you could be a good player, but what good is to be a good player if you don't have a good team? What good is to be a good player if you don't have connections to get good scrims? You know, how are you even gonna meet other players if all you do is like play ranked games? You know, like, or even like looking for group. No, you need to put yourself out there. You need to grinding houses so people see that you're good. People see that they can like work with you, and from there you start climbing. Like
Yeah.
another thing is that people think they deserve more than what they have, which is like also super irritating. You know, like you're new, you're good, but what are your accomplishments? What are your milestones? Like, yes, you're good, but I'm not gonna put you in a team like Dignitas right off the bat because I don't know you. I don't know your personality. I don't know your experience. Like, you need to climb the ladder. You know, like it's not that easy. You need to climb the ladder. You need to put your name out there. You need to start small like everyone else. I was playing with a bunch of nobodies when I started, and we together became pros like the very first year. You know, like you need to find people you like, find people you can climb with, and build synergy. And if things don't work, you know, you guys work it together and improve together. If it doesn't work, then eventually, just by playing and putting yourself out there, people is gonna start noticing you, and they're like gonna start asking you to play with them. Some things are gonna try to recruit you. That's like the main thing I say is the most important about EX Frontier: the
Mm-hmm.
networking you do and the visibility you get.
So would you say that it's important to have like a brand as a player?
Oh, it's so important to have. I think it's dumb. It's so dumb. Players that change their name every single day.
Oh
It's
yeah.
so dumb.
It bothers me
Because
too, man.
not only people cannot keep up with you, you know, like, yeah, I'm this guy, and people's gonna be like, who? You know, like
Yeah.
it's so dumb. You need your brand. You need your brand. You need consistency. You need a name that people will recognize. You
Yeah.
need a team that people will recognize.
Yeah. This is something I realized too. I played some in houses. I was on a team with Gatlu, and back then my handle was not recognizable at all. He's like, "Well, that's gonna be hard." I was like, "You got a good point. I'm gonna change it now." So I changed it,
Yeah.
and I kind of stuck with it with this new one ever since then. Um, I think that is one of the things that a lot of these pro players, the thing I've noticed with pro players is that they put a lot of emphasis on their ability to perform in the game, and sometimes they forget about the other aspects that you mentioned as well, like the synergy with the team, maybe communication, the ability to take feedback, understanding brand presence, like marketing yourself, selling yourself, not just as a player, but as like a person that other players will want to be on a team with. Because I've been on a few teams, and there are certain personalities that I just don't. Maybe it's just me, but I just don't vibe with. Um, Maybe it's an area of improvement that I have for myself, and I have been trying to look at myself to improve in that way. But on the other hand, I also recognize that there are certain things and communication styles that I really don't appreciate. Sometimes, like for example, I was on a team when we made like a game breaking decision, and some of us decided to do one thing, the rest of us decided to do a different thing, and everything went to shit because we didn't coordinate well. And it bothered me because the other players that made the wrong decision objectively did not recognize that they made a wrong decision, even though we had a coach that told them would have been better if they did that instead of that, and they just kind of brushed it off. And I was like, mm, that's a big no-no, because you got to be able to find a balance. I mentioned this before, between believing in yourself slash having an ego and being able to be self-critical and improve all the time. I think there is a certain aspect when it comes to the pro scene of like, this is how things must be done and therefore this is how it is. But on the other hand, I mentioned this, like the game changes, and the Unite is unique compared to other MOBA games. Like there are certain strategies that can work. Like I saw a game in NA. I forgot who was playing, but there was a three Charizards, and one of them had experience share. And let me tell you, man, I have been a believer of Charizard with experience share for a long time.
You sound like Bob Whoop. Oh god.
But let me tell you, man, like I see some of these wonky builds in these matches, tournament, pro player level play, and I bring it up in some of these communities, and they're like, and then they downplay it. They're like, ah, well, maybe they did it for this other reason, or maybe it wasn't a big deal, or whatever. They're just playing on another level. I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? It happened before when I was a believer of XP share on Mewtwo X. It happened before when I was a believer of a specific Blaziken build, double stacking and potion. It was like a tanky build. Like it's happened time and time again that I'm just like, is it me or is it them? Because if the pros are doing it in tournaments, there's got to be some merit to it, no?
Yeah, I mean, nothing is set on stone. Only the fundamentals.
Yeah, yeah. I guess that brings me to my next point. So, how do you make sure that in your community, you guys can make sure that you're like actually serious when playing and practicing, as opposed to trying new things and strategies? Where's the balance when it comes to that?
What do you mean? Like, as how do I make sure they're sweating or something like that?
I guess you could say that. I mean, like, if you pick a specific Pokemon and you use a build that's kind of unconventional, is that going to be criticized? Or is there going to be space for them to actually try it, for people to take it seriously and to see if it works? Or is it more important to make sure to only do stuff that is known to work?
Oh, I don't. We don't mind if people wants to try stuff, as long as they're like legit about it. Um, but there's like a slight difference between that and people trolling.
Mm-hmm. There's a fine line,
And
right?
yeah, there's a fine line. Like, sure, you can like try XP share Charizard as long as it makes sense, as long as it goes with the tempo, as long as you go to the proper lane. But then you have people saying like, "Hey, I'm gonna play Jungle Magikarp with XP share," and we are like, "Hey, you are banned from the houses. No more in houses for you."
Okay,
Because
that's very questionable. I agree with that one.
right, because at the end of the day, people's like trying to grind, people's taking it serious. Sure,
Yeah,
it's good to have fun, but some people, they want the recognition, they want to practice. So
yeah, yeah,
again, as long as their intentions are legit and non malicious, I think it's fine to do stuff like that.
yeah. I have a
Like,
history
who
of
knows?
trying.
Maybe they're cooking.
Yeah, I have a history of trying to cook, and I think a good solution, this is something I've thought about a lot, is to have like a way, a progression system for them to demonstrate that it could work. Like maybe first test it out in ranked, test it out in 5 stacks, test it out in some scrims, test it out in some N houses, and then maybe some tournaments, right? I think this
Yeah, that's
comes,
usually how you do it.
yeah, but I think this comes back to the gatekeeping part, because what I've experienced is when I try to do something very unconventional, yeah, I test it out in ranked. I test it out in some 5 stacks. But then when it comes to practicing it in scrims or in houses, actually, it depends on the in houses, but in more serious circumstances, people would get tilted. They would not take it seriously. And it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, because if they don't take it seriously, it's less likely to work, therefore it's not going to work. So you can't actually test it, you know. And not just that, but when people see that you're doing something unconventional, they're like, okay, I'm going to do something unconventional too. But if there's too many unconventional things happening at the same time, you can't evaluate any of them properly, so you can't do that either, you know. There's like a
I mean, I think it's only fair if everyone's trying, no? Because if you're trying, then my feeling is that the people will say, you know what, I'm also like allowed to try stuff if we're trying stuff.
Yeah, yeah, of
You know, I
course.
feel that,
But
that's how I feel that it will go.
of course, but maybe not in the same match. Like one match, one person tries one specific thing, and then the next match, another person can try their specific thing. Because if you try too many in one match, then you can't really evaluate. You can't narrow it down. There's too many factors to identify what it is that went well and what didn't go well. Um, but I don't know. This is why I think I was talking to Venti Soup, another person that has a community, and a good solution that we talked about is that maybe there could be like not casual in houses, but like lower tier in houses where maybe it's more encouraged to try out new stuff, and then on the other hand, more serious high tier in houses where people only do stuff that's known to work, like two
Well,
different.
I don't think that's possible right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can barely put like 2 houses at the time right now. So
Mm-hmm.
for something like that, it will take a lot of time. Hopefully, the community grows more because I really want to do like actual ranks, not just like because I say these are cosmetic ranks, because someone from the lower tier can play with like a pro player right now on my houses. So it's kind of like if you're going to play ladder, but if we got more people, I could do like way more tiers, so people can like play with people of their own level and like climb slowly but like surely, and
Mm-hmm.
learn properly. Because I think that's like one of the main problems in Pokemon Unite. The matchmaking is so bad that I don't think that anyone's learning at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like what can you take from playing versus bots or bad players?
Yeah.
You're not gonna take any of that, and then in the biggest tier of elo, you still get like clowns and bad actors and bad players, so I don't feel like anyone's learning from playing
Yeah.
ranked games. So hopefully one day I get enough people to like actually do the ranks on my own, so people can like learn accordingly.
Yeah. And even if things go well and you play with a whole match with full of people that are taking it seriously, the feedback loop isn't necessarily very good. Even if you watch your own VODs, you might need another person to evaluate them with you because you don't see certain things that you might be doing wrong, and you're not getting feedback from people like serious feedback, not just that bullcrap feedback where they're like you're bad, quit the game kind of stuff.
Yeah, I used to do bot reviews, but it's like way too much time consuming, and
Yeah.
right now I don't think I can do that. Right now I don't think I can even do that because I literally have my schedule so full right now. I need to do so much stuff. I need to do so much guides, help some people with their coaching, um the web page. I need to like uh fix some stuff, make sure the houses are ready, do the houses, do the tournaments, plan ahead, so I don't think I can do that right now. That's a thing we used to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, VOD reviews do take a long time, I know. So,
Yeah.
if there's a new player that wants to join your community and wants to move up the ranks, what is the journey like for them? Where can they find you? Where can they sign up? Where can they get notified for when in-houses happen?
For new players, I recommend you go to the EX Academy because the reality is that more experienced players still have like gatekeeping and stuff, and I don't think they're gonna play with someone new.
Yeah,
And I think you just like come to the EX Academy and ask your questions. We have like a ask your questions section. We have a feedback section. I'm like super active in there. Like if I see people asking questions, I will like actively just answer them. Um, I don't do bot review nowadays, but if people puts like a video on a question, I'm gonna tell them, hey, this is like what I can tell you about it.
yeah, like a specific
Um,
clip and a specific question for that moment or something like that.
we have in houses, but you have to be masters to participate in the houses. That's
Mm.
like an insurance that we know you are not like a super rookie.
Yep, yep,
So I say like if you're masters, I encourage you to play in houses. Even if you don't consider yourself a good player, even if you're casual, like if you wanna become better, I tell you like play in houses.
yeah,
Just play in houses. Don't worry about people flaming you because we don't allow flaming. Like we either give them timeouts or like straight up ban them because like we are against that behavior because it helps no one.
yeah,
It literally helps no one. Like we are trying to help everyone grow, and if you're like yelling at the guy that's just learning the game, like what's gonna happen? Like we're gonna get stuck as we are right now,
yeah,
and most of the time it's funny because most of the time people yelling at other players are like super bad, and it just takes someone that has achievements to tell them, "Hey, shut up! Like, what are you even talking about?"
yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
Stuff like that.
what about someone? Let's say they are like legend rank in the game. Where do they start? Do they just go directly to in-houses as well?
Yeah, they can go. Yeah, everyone goes to in houses. We don't care much about your rank. Like the minimum is just masters to start. Like legends is just masters with a cooler icon, I think. But it's the same to me, you know. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you're a legend player, it means nothing to me. Like I'm like, sure, you spend like 300 hours a day playing ranked, so it literally means nothing to me. You know, we have like our own ranks in that as well. Like you need
Yeah,
to do like 5 placements, it puts you in a rank, and then you can climb.
yeah,
And it probably hard. It's probably harder because there's like better competitive players around and
yeah.
people willing to like sweat and do their best.
Yeah, and also a lot of the pro players don't spend too much time playing ranked in the game itself. They spend more time doing scrims, in houses,
Yeah,
so the rank doesn't necessarily mean much anyway. So for a
yeah.
player that's looking to join in houses, they go to their website or the Discord community.
They need to be on the X Academy or on the X Frontier. Like it depends on which we are doing that day, but they must be there because how we do the houses is we give a code for you to be able to participate in the houses because people needs to be on a VC so we can organize them. And if it's a requirement that you are on the VC, right? So you can like talk to your teammates and what's not, you know, because
Yeah,
then you have someone that's not even in the call not giving information and it's kind of frustrating for the others.
yeah.
So that's like the first thing you need to be on the Discord, the X Academy Discord.
And all
And
people speaking the same language. I've had situations where they weren't. Like some people were speaking French or German during the
oh,
match, and
because
I'm
you're
like,
new.
and I'm like, what are you saying? Where are we trying to gank? What's happening? I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, everyone speaks English because it's like the universal language. We don't have a problem if you're speaking Spanish with another Spanish speaking person, you know, but you need to have into consideration that probably the other three members of your team don't speak
Yeah,
English.
yeah, that was the thing. Like it happened most with the with the French players. But the rule was essentially if the whole team was French and if they could all understand French, it's fine. It doesn't matter. But if only two or three out of five speak French and the rest do not understand, well, that's not okay.
Yeah.
So I think I think what you're doing is actually really good because it gives players that opportunity to move up and get exposure to all this kind of stuff. Um, I know
Hmm.
that this other community that I was a part of automated a lot of the in-house logistics. Let's say they had like a bot that would automatically choose like a team captain, who would then um, each captain would choose players, and then each team had their team. They would automatically have access to voice chat. They would go into the voice chat, and then they would do their in-house matches. Is that kind of something that you guys do too, or is it more manual?
Um, well, the houses are automatic, kinda. Like the admin just needs to press some buttons, but it's kind of automatic, like we open a queue, it gives us a code, we give the code to the players need to input it in the website. Once they are in, they need to pick the role, and they just need to join the queue, and then the queue will read how many players we have, what's their elo, and then what the administrator for the houses has, like the only thing he has to do is press make teams, and it makes balanced teams according to like everyone's elo. Pro players have like a high MMR, so you don't get like a million pro players on a team and a bunch of rookies on the other side. um we know a lot of the players, so we also added the option to like drag and drop, so we can like drag and drop players that we don't think should be on a team, and like fix the teams ourselves, or we can like reshuffle it. There's a button for that. But after that, after that, players just play their set. After they finish, they need to tell us the score, and they need to give us the picture of the scores, because that goes to like the leaderboards, the KOs and the assistants they did, the amount of games they have won, the amount of games they have lost. All of that goes to the leaderboard, because that's the way we keep track of the players. We don't put like the damage you have dealt, the healing you have dealt. We don't really care about that. It's more about tracking how consistent is the player, so others can see how consistent the player is, and probably like approach him so they get like new opportunities and stuff like that.
Nice. Sounds good. I mean, I'm located in Europe, so I'm not sure how much I'll be able to participate in your in-houses, but I would definitely want to. On the other hand, I'm also super busy these days with my baby and everything, so I'm kind of focusing on doing only a few things until things kind of clear up a little bit more. Um, but if you were to describe what a good Unite community would look like, how would you describe it?
I will describe it United Academy when we're starting, but we kinda abandon it to like do the Masters League, and we're like trying to rebuild it and reestablish it, and it's looking good. I think United Community on its peak was like the best Pokemon server I have ever been on.
Nice. How has it changed over time? You said it was different in the beginning. Now it's different.
Well, yeah, because I was like on top of it every single day. For the United Academy, I was on top of it every single day. I was doing like something every single day, like ball review, screams in houses. I was inviting players to talk about stuff. I was like releasing guides. I was on top of that. But then the competitive season came for Pokemon Unite UCS, and I was coaching Infamous for half the season after I quit the team. Um, so my time got like extremely reduced because of that. Like I had no time to like do stuff for the community, because on top of that I was like producing and doing the Masters League, which was like the league for people that didn't qualify for what's it called, for UCS. So it was like coaching, and then after I'm done coaching, doing the league, and then making sure that we're moderating, because they also gave us the LG server. The LG server is now us, and we rebranded to EX Frontier, so the NA community still has a place to thrive and get their screams and looking for group. So that's kind of what happened. But now we have like more. We learn a lot. I'm glad that all of this happened, because it's like our first time doing stuff like this. It's our first time doing grassroots. So yes, we did a lot of things poorly and bad. Not gonna lie to you. Like there was even a month where we could not like get a stream for the Masters League, because half of the casters were like, "No, I can't," and so we were like understaffed. Um, because we were understaffed, it was like hard to run some stuff. I remember in the playoff for the Ultra League and the Masters League, one of the casters had an emergency. Like one of the his little nephew, he got like hurt badly, and he had to take them to emergency. So we lost a caster right out of the bat, and the person that was in charge of managing the Ultra League had to become a caster right away. And I was like handling two tournaments at the same time with no help. So it was a disaster, you know. So I think we learned a lot. We downscale a lot of the stuff just so we can handle it. Some of the stuff are automated through the website, like tracking stuff. The leaderboard, everything organization is through the website. So like I'm glad that all of this happened because I'm like a really visual person when it comes to learn, or experienced person when it comes to learn. You know, like it has to happen to me so I can learn and I can know where to take it from there.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think this season probably we're still gonna have some mistakes, but I think this season's gonna be solid for us. We're already
Nice.
like doing the off season and all.
Yeah, I mean, don't worry about making mistakes and stuff. That's part of the process of how you learn, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I would know. I made a lot of mistakes in various aspects of life. I tried to make a few businesses. Some of them were successful, some of them were not. Epic failures, I would even say. But that's life. You just got to pick yourself up and keep on trying, right? Um, where do you think you would say you could use the most help? Like if someone were to offer to help EX Frontier, where could they help? What could they do? What could they do to help the community grow, to thrive, to expand, to find more players, or whatever it is that you guys need?
What can they do to help me? Well,
Yeah.
right now I need like in-house admins, because if I run the houses myself, it's like stuff I'm not doing, right. Like if I'm running the houses, that means I'm not working on everything else. That means I'm not working on the website. That means I'm not working on the future projects. That means I'm not working on the branding. That means I'm not organizing anything. So that's like a thing I need. um Probably if more people wants to cast, that comes in handy. Do know though that if you want to like help us and work with us, we're like extremely strict about your background, you know. Like we don't deal with people that's racist or have a history of racism. We don't deal with transphobes, homophobes. We don't deal with any of that, because keeping the community safe is like our most important priority. Like that goes over everything. Like over teaching, over having fun. I think people feeling in a safe space is like the most important thing, you know. So if you have a history of that, like don't even try. Like we will know, and don't even try.
Yeah, I've encountered that kind of stuff before. It's annoying because what these people do is they create like a new account and then they try to get back in, and you can tell. You can tell.
Yeah. I
It's
mean, we
annoying
have
though.
stuff to we have stuff so people don't get old accounts in our servers, because
Hmm.
we take security extremely hard. Like it's like again, it's the most important thing. And people say I'm annoying. People say I'm annoying. I'm like super annoying on that. I'm like, yeah. I mean, I mean, for your safety, I don't care. Like I don't want you to get dogs. I don't want you to get discriminated. I don't want people like saying slurs all over the place. Like
Yeah, yeah,
for your safety, there's like also children around.
yeah,
So and you know, children, they learn from what they see. So like it's bad. Like it's bad.
yeah. Us unks, we have to lead and show by good example, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like I used to be like you. I used to be young and I used to be edgy, but you know, I'm old and wise now, and I know what's better for you. So shut up.
Yeah, man. But you know what? Kids these days, they don't like to hear that. They're like, ah, you old person, you unk, shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be like that, huh?
It is what it is. I mean, it is a Pokemon game, so inevitably there's going to be young people playing it too. It's not like one of those other MOBAs where it kind of appeals more to the older crowd. But that's on the other hand, it is also a Pokemon game, and there are older people that have been playing Pokemon for a long time, and that's a big reason why they are playing Pokemon Unite. I am kind of one of those people. I played the mainstream games a long time ago. I stopped
Mm.
playing it for a long time, but then when Pokemon Unite came out, at the time I was playing League of Legends Wild Rift. I was like, all right, I'm switching to Unite. But
Yeah, good old league.
yeah, man. Do you have experience playing League?
Oh, I had experience. I had experience. It's let me tell you what's tough. Being a Latino on a American server, it was tough. People's awful on League of Legends. They have no filter.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you think Unite's toxic, League of Legends is next level.
League, you need therapy to even play League of Legends. It's horrible. It's rancid.
Yeah, man.
Uh,
I mean, it can help build a thick skin. I think some, mental mind games, some little bit of fun is fine. But if you are too toxic, obviously that's not good either.
yeah,
But yeah.
I agree.
So we're getting kind of near the end of the hour for the podcast, and I wanted to see if you had any
Hmm.
questions in general or questions for me. Did you have any in mind?
Well, just one question. Have you experienced any of the EX Academy events? And if so, have you liked them?
Well, I did look into some of them. And unfortunately, most of the times that they were happening were times when it was like 1 or 2 a.m. for me. so,
Yeah, yes.
so I couldn't even attend or do anything like that. I want to. I joined the community and I looked at everything and I kind of tried to stay up to date to find something that was happening in my time zone. But unfortunately, there wasn't any. And now it's even tougher with how much more limited time I have. But if you need help with trying to organize stuff in different time zones, like for European time zones, I'd be much more willing to help. And if I can contribute, I'd be very happy to. Definitely.
All right, I will have it in mind because again, EU is like something we wanna do
Yeah, yeah.
because Pokemon Unite, Pokemon is for everyone. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if we do good here, we probably can do good everywhere. But
Yeah,
understaff and that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So for anyone listening, if you want to help with admin or casting, reach out to BlackCH. So one of my last questions that I ask is, who would you like to shout out? So if you can think of maybe one person or two that you know that could be good for the podcast, who would you shout out?
For a podcast.
Yeah, for this podcast, who would be the person that
Hmm.
comes to mind first?
I say Dio Eva.
Who?
Dio Eva.
Dio Eva?
Dio Eva.
How do you spell it?
Yeah. DIO Wait 1 second. No, DIOIVA. Dio Eva.
Dio Eva.
Hmm.
Okay.
You don't know her? She's like awesome. She's from EU, actually.
Okay.
She's like one of the persons behind EX Frontier. She's from Spain. She
Okay.
does a lot for the community. She has done like a couple of guides. She's like one of the analysts for like some of the best teams. She has like done analysis for what was Gatlu's team before? I don't remember the name. Before Komai, I don't
BH3?
remember the
No.
name. No, Gatlu's. Before Komai, they were Toom, Rob, Adesu, Gatlu.
I'm very bad
You
with
know the
keeping
one with
track
the
of.
glasses. The one with the glasses.
Oh,
Well, I don't remember. It
nouns.
now on C Sports. Yeah, it was not coming to me, but she used to help them. She's helping like Komai Academy right now. She has helped like Kira's team last year. They placed like fifth. I think it's important to like recognize people like Dioiwa, because I feel like people just looks at the pro players, but they don't look at the people behind them. They don't look at the
Yeah.
coaches. They don't look at the staff. They don't look at the analyst, and they're like if not the most important part of the team. Like you
Yeah.
you will play good, but what good? is that if you don't have the numbers, if you don't have the analysis, if you don't know what to draft.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
think the
100%.
OIVA will be like, yeah, I think the OIVA will be a good place to start.
I think it's kind of a tricky situation because most people when they look at the pro scene, they see the pro players, but they don't see what's going on behind the scenes. You know,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
so they need recognition. I'll definitely reach out to Eva, see if she can, and if she's in Spain, then it'll be easier to coordinate a time. Because I know there's lots
Yeah.
of people in NA that have been trying to get on the podcast, like even the lead developer for Unite DB. I've been talking to him, but because our time zones are so different, it's hard to find a good time and a lot of stuff, adulting stuff.
I don't think.
Adulting. Yes, exactly. Cool, man. So that's pretty much it for the podcast. Any last things, any last words you want to say? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe a shout out to my team in the X Frontier: Miauri, Nando, Cisco, Virago, the OIVA, people on production, Tish, Alex, Oxygeno, Hyperastos, Bridget, Hyde. Like a shout out to everyone on the EX Frontier, and shout out to the community. Love everyone. Thanks for supporting us and helping us.
Nice.
And I think that's it.
All right. Well, that's it for the episode. Thanks for coming on the episode, BlackCH. I appreciate it. Peace out, everyone.